Hi, I'm Matt Wanzer with L2 Realty, and I'm here with Andrew Kattenberg. And today we're going to dive into how you get a deer tag as a non-resident in Kansas.
Yeah, so Kansas is not over-the-counter state, so there's kind of some different ways you got to go about it here. Where does somebody start that wants to hunt in Kansas as a non-resident?
Well, there is an application process. So it's not over the counter. Like, you have to prepare and plan if you want to hunt in Kansas this year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that time has come and gone.
Right.
So we're going to talk about what you could do next year and also some other
Options for
yeah.
this year.
Yep. So the lottery draw is an application. It normally opens up April 1st, and it doesn't go all the way to the end of April, the 28th, 29th, depending on what year it is.
Yeah.
That'll shut down.
Right. So then they put in for the application, and then when do they get the results of that?
So that application gets received by Wildlife and Parks, and they'll have typically about a month processing time. And then that draw will take place typically end of May. So you'll normally know end of May, 1st of June.
You get that email, good or
Yeah,
bad?
good or bad, one of the two.
Yeah.
Seems like back in the day it was always good.
Right.
And even there would be tags left over that you would be able to buy over the counter. But
Yeah.
for 5-6 years, like, the demand and interest in Kansas has just been climbing.
Yeah.
And there's not leftover tags.
No.
And there's more and more people every year that they're not drawing
Not
tags.
getting, yeah. We know several people that didn't get it.
Yeah.
So from there, let's say you did miss out on it. You're a non-resident. Maybe you have some buddies that are coming that did draw, and you want to come up and hunt. Is there still another option for somebody to do?
There is. There's tenant tags, and there's also landowner tags. Tenant tags, like, if you have a hunting lease, that does not qualify you for a tenant tag. You have to have an agricultural interest.
Yeah.
Whether you're farming property that you rent here or you're running livestock here. And again, like, before you would ever purchase this tag, you need to consult the Wildlife and Parks to verify that your situation is a good situation for that.
Yeah.
Because, like we've talked about this before, the prerequisites to getting that tag,
Right.
they're not there.
Right.
Like, it's up to you to know, hey, I qualify for this tag or I don't. Because when Judgment Day comes is when the game warden shows up and says, yeah, let me see your tag and your hunting license. And then your tag, you don't qualify
Right.
for that tag, and now you're technically
on the hook for whatever
yeah,
punishment.
poaching.
Yeah.
Per se, or a tag fraud.
Right.
Which you see more and more with.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. That's not going to work.
Yeah, don't ask for forgiveness.
Yeah,
Just get
right.
permission.
I know there's another way with that landowner tag. If you own 80 acres plus, you can get a tag, or you can get a tag for every 80 acres that you own. I know there's some pros and cons that go along with that.
Right, so there's no way for a single person to shoot more than one buck per year in Kansas. So let's say you're from Oklahoma and you own 240 acres, and it's just your name, just Andrew Kattenberg.
Yeah.
And so you're eligible for one tag total. Now, if you had, say, what's your brother's name?
Cordell.
Cordell.
Yep.
And your dad?
Yep. Jim.
Jim. So Jim, Cordell, and Andrew are all on this. The deed to this property is 240 acres.
Right.
Now, for every 80-acre slice of that, you're eligible for a landowner tag. So all three of you would be able
Could
to
get
do
on
that.
Yeah.
But that can't be, Andrew, Jim, and
LLC,
LLC, trust,
corporation.
Corporation,
Has
no.
to be in your individual name.
Yep.
That's who's eligible for that tag.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another like thing we get hit with all the time is, like, people are after that 80 acres, but you'll see, like, let's just jump into how land is divided.
Right.
So a section of land is what?
640 acres.
640 acres. It's a square.
Yep.
If you divide that into 460 acre squares, they call those quarters.
Yep.
And then a half of a quarter, it
Should be an 80.
should be an 80, and that's going to be 1/2 mile long by half mile wide or quarter mile wide.
Quarter mile wide.
Half by a quarter.
Yep.
Yeah, and that perfect rectangle is an 80
Right.
by definition. So there's a lot of ways that people are there. There's a lot of apps. There's some sites online,
Yeah.
and ways that people are acquiring legal descriptions, and they're looking into, hey, how big is this parcel?
Yeah.
So let's say one used to be MapRight, Land ID.
Mm-hmm.
And, you might go on and click on your property, and it comes back and it says 79.4
Right.
acres on there.
Yeah.
Is that the legal?
No, that's not technically the legal description. You should be able to read on there, and it probably won't ever actually say an acreage amount. But if you say, okay, this is the southwest quarter section, and I own the west half of that quarter section, so technically that would be an 80-acre tract there.
So what's being deducted there? What's being excluded that's making it not say 80,
Yeah.
0?
So like you mentioned, the road cut out of there on each side, you actually own to the middle of the road, but you're not getting taxed for those acres because they're the county's.
Okay, so we got a deeded acreage, amount of acres, and a taxable amount of acres. So we're looking for deeded acreage on there. And what's if you had to go to one place to have a definite answer on what you own, where would you go?
I would go to your county register of deeds.
Absolutely, me
Yep.
too. There's some very popular maps I love using. Like I say, the Land ID is a great one.
Yep.
Onyx
Onyx.
Maps is a great one. TerraStride, Hunt Stand, and then there's some local government sites that you can use, but they're not necessarily giving you what your deeded acreage is. They may be giving you taxable acres. So
Right.
make sure you're, sourcing that
Yeah.
and getting to the bottom of it before you make that purchase. Or you could work with a qualified land agent that
Yeah.
can help you with that.
That's right.
Why Kansas? Why for, 6, 7, 8, who knows how many consecutive years?
Yeah.
Why is interest building?
More demand.
Why are tags harder to get? Are they giving out less tags, or are there more people coming?
I think they're giving more tags and more people are coming. It's just, Kansas has always had that name for big bucks, and people are kind of leaning into the sustainability thing a little bit more, and property management and everything. When you can own an 80 acres and plant the food plots on it and kind of control the agriculture how you want. These are all things that people just like to do anyways, and it's good for the ground. So
Gotcha. I think,
sometimes the proof's in the pudding.
yeah. So that's the same deer, 2 different years.
That's crazy.
Some
Almost
bet-
looks like a high fence deer.
It is. It is. Yeah. No. It does give you that feel,
Gosh.
but the characteristics are crazy. Like,
Mhm.
doesn't have the drop on that, but he has that point.
Same kicker.
These kickers,
Yep.
same, not here, but very similar.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this deer, if you put like 2 sides together,
Yeah.
these are 98 inches, basically. Give it what's a reasonable inside spread?
Yeah. I mean, 17, 20 inches.
17, so potentially 220-inch free-range deer.
Yeah.
Like, that is the pinnacle.
Right. Yeah.
And-
You can't get that everywhere. I mean, I know we've grown up here, so we're kind of like, yeah, that just happens, but it doesn't happen everywhere.
No, it's not like it's happening here behind every tree,
Absolutely not.
but you're not going to catch a shark in Big Hill Lake either. Like, you've
Right.
got to go,
Yeah.
you have to hunt
Where
places
they're at.
that'll make them. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
So I believe that's one of the reasons Kansas is standing up there with other big name states like Iowa, for example, Illinois,
Yep.
parts of Missouri.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yep. So I know I looked at 10, 11, 12, and 13, and they issued, I believe it was 8,150 tags in those 4 units. And out of the whitetail tags issued in Kansas, that made up about 42% of the whole
The whole state.
state. It
Yeah.
was in that south central, southeast, east central part.
It's nestled in just
Yeah.
inside of that, and it's
Kinda
another big,
Yeah, it's a huge unit.
huge unit there as well. I think that is not 100% sure, but like if you cut Kansas into 3 slices, north and south, you got the Great Plains and the tall grass prairie,
Yep.
then the eastern third of the state
Yeah.
is comprised of a lot of woods,
Yeah.
a lot more cover. I imagine our deer numbers are
Higher.
a lot higher, which brings on the
Yeah.
elevated number of tags.
Right. They can issue more in those counties.
So just purely like if you're hunting on the eastern third of the state, there's more opportunity for you to get a tag.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No leftover permits. Everything was sold out. Mule deer in the west part of the state, all gone. So everybody wants to come to Kansas and kill a deer of some kind. So.
What do you look at, or what's your take on hunting leases combined with owning ground?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a fit, or is there a match or mix that?
Yeah, I think there can be a good mix, especially like you mentioned. Maybe we get me, you, and another guy together and say, hey, let's put our name on this piece of property that we already lease a property next to. Let's get 80 acres that we can get a landowner tag for one of us, and then we'll all put in for the draw. We'll try to hunt our lease if we all draw. If not, if two of us draw, then the third person can come and hunt strictly on that 80 acres.
So let's dig into that some more.
There's some pros and cons to each. So when you draw for your tag, you're saying a unit.
So this is you put in for the lottery.
Yep.
You get it. You are selected for the draw.
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about what can you do with that tag.
So that tag is good for that unit, and I believe you'll have to check with the parks and adjacent unit.
It is
that you pick prior to the draw. So let's say you're right on the border highway that splits a unit. You could say 11 and 12.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to pick these two. Okay, I got drawn for 11. I can also hunt in 12, which is great. You can hunt that whole unit basically anywhere you please. You can hunt your own land. You can hunt your lease. You can hunt public ground. Now, let's say you didn't draw and you're going to rely on that landowner tag. There's some pros and cons that come with that. You can hunt that 80 acres whenever you want all year. There's 3 different seasons.
Muzzleloader, archery, and rifle.
Yep.
You don't have to pick a weapon.
No.
So you do with the draw tag.
That's right.
But you don't with the landowner tag.
Yeah.
Draw tag lets you hunt anywhere
bigger,
within the unit.
Yeah.
Landowner tag only lets you hunt
This 80.
the property you own.
The property you own.
So if you own 2 80s or an 80 and a 160,
Yeah.
you can hunt any of that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So some pros and cons to each, but with the 80, you're guaranteed at least, hey, I do have a spot to hunt. If I'm going to come to Kansas every year, I'm going to put in for the draw, but I'm going to also guarantee myself a place to hunt.
Yeah. I see a lot with you get either, let's say, 3 buddies, a dad and sons, a dad, whatever the mix of that comes out to be, and they've leased a few properties, and then 2 sons draw and dad doesn't draw.
Right.
2 buddies draw and the third one doesn't.
Right.
And they always hunt together.
Yeah. They're going to make the trip together. I mean, they're
Yeah.
planning this from the time they were here last year.
Right. Yeah, it's an annual deal.
Yeah.
So that's when I really like that. Let's all 3 of us put our name
Yeah.
on this property.
Right.
But I would only recommend using the landowner tag as a fail-safe
Yeah.
or a backup.
Right. Only
Right.
if you had to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because if you have the regular tag, I mean, you can hunt your
hunt that,
leases, you
yeah.
can hunt the property you own, you can hunt
Yeah.
public ground,
Yeah.
whatever. You impromptu
Yeah.
meet somebody at the gas station, get a new place to hunt.
Right.
All those options there. But
Yeah.
you got 3 there, 2 guys draw. They still have that freedom, and now the third guy can just buys a tag.
Yeah.
And instead of being the camp cook,
Yeah. He gets to go hunt too.
yeah, he gets to hunt too. He's limited to the space he can go to, but at least,
Right.
yeah, he's still,
In the game.
yeah. And as you know, as we've gotten older and learned to appreciate different things, like the camaraderie
Yeah.
that comes with the hunt,
Yeah.
the cooking, the hanging out, the cleaning
Yeah.
deer, setting stands,
Yeah.
planting plots, like
Yeah.
checking cameras, all those things,
Yeah.
really come to really drive home the culture of,
Yeah.
of being in the
Making
outdoors.
the memories for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Shooting an animal is just a cherry on top
Right.
to all that. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to wrap it up right there. If you do have any other questions, contact Matt or myself. If you're looking to come to Kansas and hunt a whitetail this year, we can sure make that happen for you. So give us a call.
Thank you.